are the top 10 actors to have played multiple comic book characters?
There's a lot to choose from, but who are the best? Stay tuned until the end to find out.
Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's me, the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And me, Nico Lero, and we are here to talk about one of AJ's favorite topics this week. It's time to talk comic book movies.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. And look, that's what it's all about. We're just going to be talking of our love for comic book movies and going, I recognize that face. He was, and now he's, or she was, and now she's. But that's the idea. Now, before we get into it, Nico, would you like to tell everyone what the Movie Mount Rushmore is all about?
Yes, absolutely. Basically, for those of you joining for the first time, it is a top 10 show between two best friends from school. We've been doing this a long time now. Here's how it works. AJ and I each get assigned a topic. We go our separate ways. We come back right here into our little show and deliver to you, the film family, the Silver Screen Dudes, our individual top 10s. This week, I will go first, delivering my bottom three. AJ will then deliver his bottom three. I will deliver my next two. AJ will deliver his next two. And then we will trade one apiece. If at any time while we are rounding off our individual top 10 lists, one person has a movie in a higher position, that person will say
Punt.
and we will punt and talk about that movie when we get to the high position. Once we have both rounded off our individual top 10 lists, we will create the movie Mount Rushmore. These are the 4 quintessential diverse must-see movies of the genre, which this week is. It's not movies. What is it?
Top 10 actors who played multiple comic book characters. Trust me,
Yes.
that's not as easy as you think it is to say. If you know, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot to choose from this week. Listen, I know this is more your wheelhouse than mine in terms of enjoyment. It's not because I don't like comic book movies. I, in fact, love them, but I do feel like it's very much become the law of diminishing returns in the last few years, thanks to dilution of product. There is just too much out there at the moment, and I'm not bored of comic book movies. I'm bored of bad comic book movies, and they have been making some stinkers in the last few years. But we're going to look at the good, the bad, and the ugly in this top 10. So, without further ado, my number 10.
Okay.
And AJ, my number 10, you want to talk about good, bad, and ugly? Right here, because this was one of the best villains in the MCU. And he also starred in one of the worst comic book movies, if you can believe that. Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger and as Johnny Storm. Is he on your list?
Okay, that is going to be a punt from me, sir. That is a punt.
I have a feeling we're going to be punting my number 9 as well. From one Fantastic Four to another. Chris Evans as Captain America and also Johnny Storm.
Yeah, that is also a punt. Weird thing. All right, yeah, no. I just found out where I was like, "Where's my Michael B. Jordan gone?" Because he was somewhere and it's been pushed around. But yes, that is indeed a punt. Okay, you're number 8.
Maybe a punt as well. Who knows? Again, we're talking good, bad, and ugly. The way I've done my list, just so I can get a chance to say something, the way I've done my list is I haven't just done it based off of the value of, like, let's say they've, like in these cases, they've done a really good performance and a performance, or at least starred in a movie which isn't so good. I've just gone on a general gut feeling of, yeah, you were great in this, but that was so bad that it bumps you down quite dramatically. Like, I'm not just judging them based off the value of if they were in something good and something bad. I'm not just saying, oh, this was great and we ignore the bad. No. If you're in something stinky, you get bumped down. And this guy,
I get
arguably born to play one of these characters, but did 2 little stinky pies for me as well. Ryan Reynolds, who was in Deadpool, Green Lantern, and Blade Trinity.
It's a punt. It is a punt, which is awkward. I was really... So he is the one that is in somewhere. Anyway, I'll get to it when it gets to it. But he was the most awkward position in my head. Yeah, triple punt. How often does that happen? Right, in at number 10 for me. Am I coming through okay?
Yes.
Cool. In at number 10 for me is the character who was loved then by us. Then we grew up and realized it wasn't great. And then he got a redeeming arc, but I enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. And that is good old Ben Affleck as both Batman and Daredevil.
Nah, that couldn't make my list. It was actually in contention for worst for a while, but yeah, it was. It's not for me this one.
Right. So here's the thing when it comes to Ben Affleck, right? It's that I still enjoy Daredevil. I'm not going to be one of those who, like, I've not watched it recently, so I'm not going to be like, oh, it's the greatest thing ever. But the love I had for it is there. Daredevil I saw as an animation in Spider-Man, and then I was able to see the film, and it kind of reflected, it gave me a good understanding of the character, and it gave what it did. The cheese is there, but it's time of its era. He's delivered as Batman, and I feel like it worked in the basis of what it was. I feel that it just needed more from the director than opposed to his actual performance. And that's where the issue occurs. I feel like Snyder gave something. I haven't seen the Snyder cut, so I can't deliver on that as much as most people could. But it's just a case of it's there, but it was just off. So I feel like he's delivered in both roles. He's obviously elevated because there are those who were like, okay, thank God he's done a lot better than Daredevil. But it still had something missing, and hence for that, I feel like I'll give him his redemption story, but it's still not great territory. Hence why he's my number 10.
Look, for me, Ben Affleck has twice been in things where there's been some good ideas and where other people have been good. Colin Farrell as Bullseye, Michael Clark Duncan as Kingpin. I like it. In Batman, Henry Cavill as Superman. Love it. He's been in things which had good ideas. I don't think he's ever been the good part of them, which is why I was like, nah, you're not on. You're number 9?
Right, in at number 9, he's been a villain, he's been a hero. I am talking about none other than Josh Brolin as Cable and as Thanos. Okay.
Punt. How dare you disrespect Thanos?
Okay. In at number 8, again, someone who was a villain and also a hero. We are talking about none other than Tom Hardy as Venom and Bane.
Small punt.
Okay. Very, very, very interesting episode from the Silver Screen Dudes. Over to you, sir.
Over to me. Where is my number 7? Yeah, my number 7. Look, my favorite Batman. But he did some stuff where he wasn't the problem, but the movie wasn't good. Christian Bale as Batman and Gore the God Butcher is my number 7.
This, it was tough because obviously it's given me one of my favorite Batman movies, but Love and Thunder was terrible, and yes. I didn't have it in me to make it worse because he's done good. If you've done good but you've got a bad, then you don't qualify as worse, you know.
Correct. And what the good he did was so good that I thought, yeah, you're going to be on the top 10. But the bad he did, the movie itself was bad. He wasn't the problem with it. But the movie was, as you said, genuinely quite terrible. Any other list, you wouldn't see me put Christian Bale at number 7. Like, that's like a fallacy in the land of Nico. But yeah, Gore the God Butcher. I'll say this about Gore the God Butcher. Although he didn't actually do any God butchering, which is stupid because the MCU had set up so many good gods for him to butcher. The Egyptian gods, the Norse gods, the Greek gods. Like, have some fun, man. Nope, we don't get any god butchering. That's fine. I missed Gore when he wasn't on screen. I actually quite liked what Bale did with Gore the God Butcher. So he, like... Huh? You're muted.
Not that I didn't like it. I just thought the film was so disjointed. It was just a villain that didn't belong in that movie, and I didn't know how to take it. That's my feel of it.
Completely. Agree. And my number 6, AJ, was the punt from just now. It was Tom Hardy as Bane and Venom. Both of which I think get an unfair rap for. Like, yes, the Bane voice. It was an odd decision, an odd creative decision by both Nolan and Hardy to do that because it came off as funny, not scary. Like, I'm not asking for a growl, but you could have gone a little bit lower than that.
Do you know what I think they tried to do? And correct me if I'm wrong. they tried to create the anti-Batman, where you've got, and I don't want to call him diminutive in Christian Bale, but like a smaller man with this deep growl of a voice. You've got this big tonk monster, and his way of like portraying another voice was that I don't know what it is, but it's one of the weirdest things. Anyone who's watched the TV show Superstore will know that he sounds a lot like Glenn Sturgis, and you're like, how is this even a voice? How is this intimidating? He delivers everything. Like the backbreaking is better than I could ever had imagined from Bane,
Yeah.
But it was the voice. You're just like, how am I meant to take this guy seriously? So I know exactly what you mean on
The fight that him and Batman had was actually very cool. The first fight, like when he was like, you work in the shadows. I was born there. There was some good lines, and I like the fact that he absolutely wrecked Batman the first time they fought, and I hated the way they killed him off. The disrespect to the highest degree. Middle of a fight, Catwoman runs him over. I'm like, that's how you end it? Wow. Okay.
Short of the Joker, though, I feel the Nolan trilogy was very weird in the way they removed people. Like, let's look at the way Scarecrow got written off.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't get the best justice. Yeah, it's a bit weird. Very weird.
It was weird, which is a shame. Now, Venom, I did not like Let There Be Carnage, but the first Venom movie, other because of the fact that I called the freaking storyline they were going to do, and everyone was like, oh, no, it can't be done. I'm like, they're doing Lethal Protector. Watch. So I love that, the fact that he wasn't full evil in it, but the relationship that him and the symbiote had, I loved. It wasn't Andy Serkis Gollum level, but it was a lot of fun. I loved the voice of Jump Eddie. I thought that was cool as hell. And I loved his kind of descent into madness. You cannot just eat people like that. I liked what he did with Venom. It was a lot of fun. Like when they're on the top of the Empire, the city is so beautiful. I should eat people in its Jump Eddie. And then it cuts to him being in the lobby, and the lift goes ding, and it just. It's so funny. It's really, really good. But
they own it the way like the challenge between the two characters. It's done really well. That I have to give it credit to. I think the Venom is a difficult one as well, because I'm always on this level of knowing the story that and even down to the Tobey Maguire story, you're like, okay, that's the Venom I know, and it's like, how am I meant to understand this? And especially when it's the same character, it's weird to have a Venom without a Spider-Man. I'm aware that it's out there, but to all Spidey fans, it's that, and that's one of the things that they got me on board to appreciate it, but it always felt weird. And then they, and I think Let There Be Carnage done one of the worst things by teasing them being in the same world when we're doing No Way Home, just for it to be like, no, he's only a post-credit star scene, a post-credit star in both films, and it was like, you guys done messed up so badly on that. But I still appreciate what Tom Hardy had to deliver in that.
It was great. And what's better than Venom and Spider-Man? It's Venom and 2 Spider-Mans, because the point where this movie releases, I will be the proud owner of Spider-Man 2 on PS5, and I most likely would have platinumed it already. Oh, I've got a big weekend of gaming planned. Ha!
Nice. Enjoy it, my bro. Enjoy it.
What's your number 7?
The more I look at it, the more I'm just going to bump up something and bring it to number 7. Because as I said, it was the most awkward one for me. And the more I look at it, I'm like, why did I do that? And I'm going to do it now. I'm going to bring it up. In at number 7 is our other punt from earlier. It's Mr. Ryan Reynolds. And this picture is going to show you exactly everybody he's been along the way. Hannibal King. He was Wade Wilson. He was then the Green Lantern, and then he became the right Wade that we like, and he became the official proper Deadpool. You can't mute the Merc with a mouth. It sucked. Short of Deadpool, they have sucked. We just have to call a spade a spade. Blade Trinity, for all the love I have for Blade, I have not been able to complete Trinity. I have fallen asleep on that film every single time. I just can't get into it. It was the world was elated when we saw that Ryan Reynolds was playing Wade Wilson. We're like, oh my god, he was born for this character. This is amazing. And then they done everything possible to kill the character and Ryan in that. And it was like, this is terrible. Then we got Green Lantern, and we were like, here we go. He's gonna get it. He's gonna get it this time, and he couldn't. He just it was very, very, very childish as a film, which is fun, and you can see some fun bits with the ring, but it just lacked depth. I remember watching this film and being like,
part of the problem with Green Lantern. You know, for a lot of these movies, I'll say like Bale wasn't the problem with Thor, Love and Thunder. The movie was disjointed, as you said. I think Reynolds was part of the problem with Green Lantern. He did not fit that character.
Green Lantern is meant to be serious, and now you've got the guy who is all about the fun playing it. And it was like, okay, I get it. He's the hero who doesn't want to be a hero, and he finds his way.
For Christ's sake, like
it was a bit of a problem. I just feel like my view when I watched Green Lantern was, if only I was 10 years younger. That was the only feel I had, and I don't know what it was like to be someone who was, no, I think maybe 20 years younger. You really needed to be very infantile to appreciate it. And I just remember going, yeah, whatever. And then finally came the trailer for a film, and we were like, this is a really cool fan service picture. And it just became more and more like that trailer became something, and it became the basis for the film, and it had no budget, and the trailer was 95% of the film. It doesn't matter, because he finally found
it was too.
And then we finally got Deadpool. And you know, one of the other bits that we have to give Ryan credit for, if you go to Deadpool 2, he was also Juggernaut. Like, he owned that. He actually owned it. He done really well as that. So for that, I will give him the credit that he elevated and he finally found his groove, but he kissed a lot of frogs before he found that prince.
Oh, he really did. And that's why he was so low down my list. I'm like, you done too much bad.
Yeah.
You're number 6?
Yeah, I'm rearranging these slightly because the more I look at it, the more I'm like, this is such a powerful performance. In at number 6 is your other punt from earlier. It's Killmonger and Johnny Storm in Michael B. Jordan. The weight of Killmonger is always going to have a lot of love for me, because that ideally, like, there are more powerful villains, but that is my favorite MCU villain. The way he delivered it.
Of all of them.
There's something in there. The Killmonger's presence just really takes me. I know there's more powerful and there's more deadly, but if you're going to tell me something
more
about
than Loki, more than Thanos, wow,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's something about it. Going back to a line that you said before over episodes of, but the art of a good villain is getting you to sympathize or relate to them. The lines he dropped, I was like, I get you. I see what you're doing. And what more than any other film, he was the star. Like, Black Panther was very good in Civil War. Black Panther was not Black Panther in Black Panther. Do you know what I mean? It was weekend. You find yourself cheering for Killmonger, and that's how good a performance he delivered. And the basis behind what he was doing, and then Black Panther disagreeing, finishing him off, and then being like, yeah, what we were doing was wrong. I'm going to go for what he went for. It's a bit of a messed up movie. I won't say disjointed, but the values are all over the place, you know. But what Killmonger came up with, and I just remember that visit to the museum, and it's, I don't want to play the culture game, but it's those toys like, yeah, where's that from? No, that's from Wakanda. You stole it. I'm gonna take my stuff back. And he just has the lines that you're like, I get you, bro. I get you. And then it just builds, and that's what I really loved about him. And I don't think, despite all the flaws, again going back to it, where we talk about characters, he wasn't a bad Human Torch. It was just a bad film. So for
I'd agree with that. I don't think he had anywhere near enough to do. Like, I swear he did Flame On twice. He was like, oh, okay. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But with that, I feel like he's owned what he had to own. And I feel like where do you find a bad Michael B. Jordan performance? I'm not too sure. I'm still looking for it. There is another film, that found footage film. I remember seeing most of it, and I can't remember where I saw it, but I didn't get a chance to finish it.
Chronicle. I love that film.
Chronicle. There you go. So for that as well, he was in that as well, you know?
Okay, my number 5 then. So he's one of our favorite actors, and he's been in 3 comic book movies. And people are 3, really? He's like, yes, 3, really. And he's kind of done great in all of them. Jim Carrey is my number 5, AJ, who was in The Mask. He was the Riddler, and he was in Kick-Ass 2.
Yes. Yeah. Jim just missed the mark for me, to be honest. I must admit,
Wow.
I keep forgetting The Mask as a superhero movie, essentially, or a comic
Yeah.
book movie. Had I remembered that, that probably would have been the winner for him. Put it this way, I love him as the Riddler in
Yeah.
Batman Forever. Big surprise. But was this a rap? Excuse me. Kick-Ass 2 is the one that I remember being like, he was good, but he wasn't full Jim. He wasn't very happy with everything. He just delivered. He didn't give 100% in it. He was still good, but he wasn't great. And with that, it just left the mark.
And that was still a good performance and better than anything that Ryan Reynolds did in his other 3 movies would be my answer to that.
I can give you that.
Now, Jim, because listen, this is the first time we've come to a point in the movie where an actor has actually been in 2 really, really, really good movies. And one, I still maintain, is fun. Kick-Ass 2 was a step down from Kick-Ass 1, but I had fun with it, mostly because of Jim. So that's why he's on for me. That was my number 5. Your number 5.
My number 5. Oh, hold on. Did I do my number 7 and 6? I think I done my number 7. I don't think I done my number 6.
Killmonger.
No, but I moved him up to 7.
That's what's your number 6.
Right, yeah. There we go, guys. This is internet problems. I do apologize. But in at number 6 is a man who has played many a superhero. He may have topped it in terms of numbers of superheroes. He's one of your favorite actors. He comes from a line of famous actors and directors. I'm talking about none other than Mr. Nicolas Cage. Now,
Fun.
Oh, okay, cool. We'll leave it there. Okay, he was higher, but he's there. So yeah, that was my number 6. We've done your number 5. Would you like my number 5?
Yeah.
Right. A man who's actually done good in all 3 deliveries of what he's done. Some people's favorite Batman. I'm talking about Mr. Michael Keaton.
Pun.
Okay. Oh, here we go. Okay. we're in that mode today. Okay. Over to you.
It's one of those episodes. This is so funny. All right, fine. So my number 4 was the pun from just now, Nicolas Cage. And
Cool.
he was not good in Ghost Rider. No one, sorry, it's not that he wasn't good in Ghost Rider, it's that Ghost Rider wasn't very good.
Yeah, they made a sequel somehow.
Sorry?
Yeah, they made a sequel.
Yeah, with Idris Elba, who could have been someone who would be in contention for worst. But yeah, you had Ghost Rider, you had Spider-Man Noir, which I thought he was amazing in the first Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah.
You had him. This is canonified now because he was in Tim Burton's Superman Lives movie. Like, he was Superman. They did the suit, they did the test screenings, and then he actually appeared as that Superman in the Flash movie, which I thought was like chef's kiss. So that's canon now. Nicolas Cage was Superman. And the fun thing is, he actually got to do the voice of Superman in Teen Titans Go to the Movies.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a really cool touch. And there was another, Big Daddy in Kick-Ass, where he was literally the heart and soul of the movie.
I'm just going to pull up my poster one more time because it just shows like most of what he's done. Like, there you go. Like, this is who he is. And at one point, he was my number 5, but I just looked at like stellar performances and he just missed the mark. That's why I bumped him up a tad.
Do you know, of all of them, the thing that made him into my number 4 was Big Daddy? Because I believe without him is why number 2 suffered. My God, we were missing Big Daddy in Kick-Ass 2. It was ridiculous. He was the beating soul of that first Kick-Ass movie. I loved it. I really do have quite a soft spot for that Kick-Ass movie. Matthew Vaughn, who we spoke about in our news show this week. So check that out.
Yeah, there you go. He does do good.
Yeah, he really does. Your number 4.
My number 4. Right. Well, you talked Kick-Ass. Now it's my turn. I'm talking Aaron Taylor Johnson, who has been the titular Kick-Ass, Quicksilver, and will be playing Craven, which I'm not too sure if I'm excited for.
And he's my number 3.
Ah, there we are. Like, like Kick-Ass, for all that in the world where we had superhero movie and everything else, that's what I thought this was. I wasn't expecting a serious film from it, and I stayed away from it like the plague. I just did not. I didn't think it was for me.
Looked like a spoof. It looked like another cheesy satire.
Yeah. When I was told that it's actually based off something, and you know what, give this one a shot. Again, Silver Screen Dudes had started by the time I gave this a shot, so I was able to do 1 and 2 back to back. I really enjoyed this film, and there is a lot of quality. And as you said, 1 does outdo 2. Again, why Jim just missed the mark for me on making the list. But I was actually like, okay, so you're not from the big powerhouses in terms of quality, but you've got something. You intrigue me. You interest me. You've got it. And with that, I was down for the ride. That's the best way I could put it. I was down for the ride. I really enjoyed it. And then what he delivered as Quicksilver was gold, absolute gold. I know Evans. What's his name? I can't remember his first name. I want to say Pete Evans. Evan Peter. No, that's not Evan Peter. I want to say Peter Evans. Is awesome as the Fox version of Quicksilver, and that was all kinds of cool. And that that Kick-Ass connection is really fun as well. Again, Evan Peters was missing from Kick-Ass too, but when you look at it, he really gave a very good Pietro Maximoff, down to the real sides of Pietro. You had them coming from oh my god, time is kicking in. But their original hometown, Sokovia, like you've given it something to really give, and the relationship he made Hawkeye cool. He made you want to follow Hawkeye's story because of the love-hate relationship they had along the way. It was really something that's all kinds of cool. So on both deliveries, he's really given something. It's just Craven that scares me, if I'm honest. But
no, I'm into it. I'm interested in Craven because of Aaron Taylor Johnson. Even if the movies are dull, the same way as I was interested in Morbius because of Jared Leto, even though that movie turned out to be terrible. There's been numerous times I've been interested, and Craven will get my time and money. Do I have faith that it'll be good? No, the Sony standalone movies are not usually good, but the trailers have me intrigued. I like the direction that this is all fan booking here, but the direction they're potentially heading in with all of these Spider-Man villain crossovers, it could end up being a big steaming pile of nothing, but there's something fun on the horizon brewing. I love Aaron Taylor Johnson. I'm going to say the unpopular thing here. I think his Quicksilver was better than Evan Peters. I think Evan Peters had more fun stuff to do. The set pieces were better for Evan. I thought what ATJ had, he brought a lot more heart and soul to the performance than Evan did, and was actually given a lot more room to breathe and actually show his acting prowess. I'm such a fan of Aaron Taylor Johnson. How about this for a bit of casting? I think he should be the next James Bond.
I can endorse that. He's got the look.
Cut the long hair off. He's got the right physique for it now. What I saw of him in Bullet Train, where he was being cockney, but him in a suit, I was like, oh, hello. There's a bit of shaken, not stirred about you, Mr. ATJ. I'm a massive ATJ fan. I've loved him since Kick-Ass, and I wish him a long and happy career. I think he's wonderful. And my favorite Quicksilver. No. That was your 4, my 3, your 3.
Okay, right. So we're in for my next entry, and that is a man who's actually not done really bad in any of the superhero movies, as far as I'm concerned. He's got a terrible TV series. Well, I haven't seen the TV series, so I can't call it terrible. But I'm talking none other than Samuel L. Jackson, who has been Mr. Glass, Nick Fury, and good old Frozone from The Incredibles. Listen. Nick Fury has been pretty canon and held that down for the MCU. It was the whole building towards it, and everyone kind of wondered where Nick Fury is. All of his post-credit scenes have been something that's been kind of an interest, and he's made it what it has to be, in the sense that he wasn't the stereotypical look for Nick Fury. Go back to any of your 90s cartoons. That's not what Nick Fury looked like. Yet he has changed the face and game.
Him.
This is it. That's that. Frozone if you look at The Incredibles 1, doesn't have much time in it, but is loved. He was like one of the most loved characters that has ever become, and they gave him a bit more time in Incredibles 2. Is Incredibles 2 Incredibles 1? By no means, by any stretch, will that ever become, excuse me, my nose is running like mad today, but it's not comparable. But we got some more Frozone time, and people still sat back and loved and appreciated it. And then Mr. Glass. Now, depending on the series of films that you look at, there's a different way. Unbreakable's not my favorite of the trilogy, but my God, what a character! What a character brought to life, and the juxtaposition of a man who cannot be harmed versus a man who is literally breakable. And that's why he's Mr. Glass, because he just shatters to pieces at every moment, and he really brings the reign for that supervillain, And it's something where he tries to convince you that you're living a comic book hero life in the real world. Excuse me, just 2 seconds.
Bless you.
Right. Thank you. And in that, you just don't feel that it's being like it's worth. You're like, this guy's just believing in something because he's really unlucky, and this guy's not ever had like so much of the common cold. But then you start to realize that it is in fact something, and the way it builds, and Split being something, and then you see Mr. Glass. No, you don't. You see Unbreakable at the end of it, and then by the time you get to Glass, and you're like, the whole story of the way it's all being built, and he has an idea, and people don't want to believe it. I've actually enjoyed everything that Samuel L. Jackson has done with Mr. Glass. I think he's really delivered on that. So my applause to him.
As good as Mr. Glass, I need to go and rewatch The Incredibles again because I've got no memory of it being wow. I saw it once, and I know you do. I've seen it once, and it just left me feeling meh. So I need to go back and rewatch it and try and find the love that everyone else seems to have for it. Some people say it's their favorite Pixar movie, and I'm like, what the hell? No. But that's fine. So that was your 3. So
yeah.
My 2 then. Well, both a puns. My 2 is Bird Boy. Michael Keaton as Batman and the Vulture.
Can I just throw something else into that?
Please.
No matter, Birdman is also a hero.
Yeah, sure. you can have Birdman in there. You can have Birdman in there. That is definitely one of his best performances. But I love him in all of these roles. I thought he was really good as Vulture. The twist in Spider-Man Homecoming really got me. Like I did not see it coming. When he opens the door, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't know. That's me being racist, but I did not see that coming. Of course she's mixed race. Of course she would have a white parent. Of course it's him. Damn it. It was all there all along. And to a lot of people, he's their favorite Batman. Yes, Mr. Mom is Batman, if you can believe it. Beetlejuice is Batman, if you can believe it. Who knew? But yeah, he was great as Batman, and I love Batman Flashpoint.
Yeah, look, my and this is me just being a bit of a stickler. I was just hurt that he wasn't Thomas Wayne. I felt like that part of the story needed to be. It didn't need to be, but I wanted it to be, essentially. So it kind of threw me off that he was just Batman again, and Bruce again. And I was like, it's cool. And I adapted to it, but I really wanted. I just like that twist in Flashpoint where it means
you wanted a Batman of the future, didn't you? You wanted Batman Beyond.
Yeah, look, that's all kind of cool. But it's that letter from Thomas Wayne to Bruce that Barry brings back that means so much. It's quite a touching moment, and that is taken away when you've got Bruce Wayne and multiple Bruce Wayne. Obviously, there are multiple Bruce Waynes. I'm aware of this, but that little caveat to it just kind of it sucked something away from the essence of Flashpoint. But he still owned it. He still owned it as Batman. It would be a lesser film without him. It would be a lesser film without him.
It would be less than half the film without him. Yeah, no, he brought the rain in that movie between the kind of zany hermit Bruce Wayne to him putting on the cowl again. You want to get nuts, you want to see nuts. Let's get nuts. It's so good. Yeah. And there were things I mentioned this in reference to this is going back a few years now, but I mentioned this in the reference to the way Zack Snyder captured Ben Affleck moving, hanging on the side, zip, and then actually seeing him go, which we'd never really seen before. That factory fight scene, which looked like something from out of Arkham Asylum. There were some gliding movements in this, which were literally wow. Like when the Batwing is going down and he's bailed, and they do that shot underneath him of the Batwing falling and just missing him, and then the camera swooshes under in conjunction with the Batwing, and you just get him, and the wings going whoosh. I was like, okay, now that's cool. Okay, I'm sorry. Doesn't matter how much I don't like the lead actor. That scene is worth the price of admission to watch on a big screen. I was like, that needs to be seen on a big screen. That was awesome. Yeah. Seeing Keaton back as Batman made me happy. And have you seen the interview where they say to him, like, who do you think the best Batman is? And he just turns around and went, I'm Batman.
Well played. Well played. I like that. I haven't seen that, but no, good on it. Good on it.
It's very good. Also, the best Batman is Kevin Conroy. Rest in peace.
R.I.P. and co-signed to I miss that guy. Haven't met him. I miss that guy. Thank you for the memories. Thank you for the childhood memories. Right.
And the adult memories. Dude, the adult memories. He's been he's been in some violent ass Batman cartoons as well.
And games. Like, they knew that's who they had to call for the games as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was everything.
That's why I'm saying he was the best Batman. He's been in the best Batman movies, the animated movies. He's been in the best superhero games. He's been in the best animated show on TV. Like, I don't care how much y'all like Spider-Man and X-Men. I'm right there with you. Ain't nothing touching that Bruce Timm Saturday morning Batman show.
Yeah. No, I can give you that.
Your number 2. And I apologize to our viewers for the pixelation on AJ's face. We are having major internet issues tonight.
But major internet connection issues. My audio is going to be all over the place. I've gone from computer to phone. And now I'm saying, when I said 5 and 6, I feel like I've messed up somewhere because I'm counting the numbers and I feel like I've said everything. So I'm going to apologize. This is by no means number 2, but just in case I don't, because in the element that I don't have a number 2, I'm going to give someone a bit of an honorary redemption. So it's not officially a number 2 because I'm sure I've listed 8 somewhere, 9 somewhere already. Okay. So my honorary mention, and it's just going to be 11. And I really apologize for screwing up this episode, guys. Figure it, the AJ episode, and I'm screwed it up. But Brandon Routh, because that guy sucked as Superman. It was one of the worst Superman films that you could ever do. But he got a redemption on the CW as the Atom. He actually brought the Atom to life, and he actually was a character that people grew to love. So I'm going to give him a bit of love there. It was one of my numbers before my official 10 was in, but my numbers have really been skewed based on our internet connection. So I'm just going to do that. We'll move on. Then we'll do my worst and number 1. He's not in contention. He's not at number 2 anywhere. I believe that was Sam J. Over to you. And then, apologies. We move on.
I couldn't pick a worst here. There was a lot. No, I had a lot of contenders, and I'm sure yours is going to be on here.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I'm going to take a stab at your worst. It's Jared Leto.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. Because here's the thing. Do I hate his performance as the Joker? No. But is he my least favorite Joker? Yes. Okay? And that's the reason. But more than anything, the hate that came up for Morbius, I was not able to go and see that film because you went and saw it and it was terrible. Big Tone, who's very sympathetic when it comes to films, was like, no, I can agree, this is bad. There is not a positive review from Morbius that has come out. So with that, in the game of me having to play worse, I was like, you didn't do a bad Joker. The public believes you're a bad Joker. I was okay with that Joker. I was okay with it. I acknowledge it as my least favorite Joker. That's the difference. Right?
Least favorite. I would agree with that. Least favorite Joker. So
being the least favorite Joker, followed by Morbius, which, normally when we play this game, short of Ryan, like he as I said, he kissed a lot of frogs before he found the prince. Jared is in that same kind of territory. Like people hate his Joker. I don't. But from there, you've then gone into worse. You haven't upped the game like my number one has, or others have. Like Ben Affleck, for argument's sake, some would say he's done a better Batman than he did other thing. Michael B. Jordan went from Human Torch to Killmonger.
Yeah, and you could argue that about like, there's a few, there's a few here. So it's okay. So let's use that logic. So I would say Oscar Isaac was in contention because what he had to work with for Apocalypse was not good, but I thought he did a very good Moon Knight. So based on the logic you've just used, that wouldn't qualify.
Moon Knight was an upgrade, yeah.
Moon Knight, I thought he was really good. Idris was in contention because Ghost Rider 2 was bad. And I'm sorry, Heimdall, Bifrost Man, it's like whatever. But it's still an upgrade. A downgrade would be Halle Berry.
Yes. Yeah, of epic proportion. But the only thing I'll give Halle is that she went back to Storm. She went back to Storm. That's the only way I'd give her a redemption arc.
Yeah. She got tricked into going back to Storm. We did a news story about that. Check it out.
She did. But she came back in Future Past as well, so I'll give her a little extra credit. But yeah, she did get back and check out the news story while you can.
I may pick Halle Berry as my worst, just because of how goddamn bad Catwoman was. And let's not be under any illusion. That killed her career.
Oh yeah, we're still waiting to see a good Halle Berry.
So yeah, all right. My number one then, dude, was the punt from you. Had him way down. I was like, you must be out of your mind. Yeah, my number one's Josh Brolin, bro. Come on. What other person on this list have we said, other than maybe Aaron Taylor Johnson, and even there you were like, oh, worry, possibly Michael Keaton, but Josh Brolin, dude, he's not just. Oh, are we back?
But sorry, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Hello? Yeah. Oh, and you're so much clearer. Jesus Christ.
So I just had to connect to my Wi-Fi, which I don't normally do from this room, but hey, it's working. So, yeah.
So Brolin, dude, like, he really knocked it out the park with both of these. Like, I remember when he got announced as Cable, people were cynical about it. Not because they don't love Cable, but it's like, really? Thanos? Are we really going to be able to look past the fact that he's meant to be playing one of the biggest bads in comic book history, and now he's a good guy or an anti-hero?
Yeah.
You believed it every single moment. I thought he was an amazing Cable. Amazing Cable. Possibly one of my favorite depictions of a mutant ever. I thought he was fantastic. Oh. So yeah, one of my favorite mutants ever. It's going to sound crazy to people, but I put him in terms of how well the actor served the character, because people will think straight away about the animated series or about the comics. Oh, what about Cyclops? You haven't seen a good Cyclops on screen yet. What about Storm? Doesn't matter if it's Alexandra Shipp or Halle Berry. I'm yet to see a Storm that really makes me go, wow. I thought it was just been meh. Obviously, Wolverine has been amazing. Deadpool was amazing. Cable's up there, dude. Like Magneto and Professor X, yes. After that, you have to bring Cable to the party. In terms of how good Brolin was of bringing that character to life, he was amazing. And then you talk about the freaking motion capture work he did with Thanos, the presence he had, the fear he brought to those two Avengers movies was unreal.
That's second to none. A lot of my list, I'll be honest, was the original title to this was actors who have played multiple superheroes. I was very cautious of having supervillain superhero like link behind it, and I think that's kind of why he's low. And I don't have beef, and there were other names in there, some people who qualified, some who didn't. But I think that's partially the argument because, well, you were a villain and a hero. But I agree with you.
So range as well.
Come again?
So range as well.
Of course. Yeah, of course. But I mean, by that note, that's where the Gore Butcher and Batman also qualified. As did Samuel L. Jackson.
Bale, right?
there is range in some of these guys. Oh, I hate myself. I just figured out a double villain that I forgot.
Go on.
I don't know if you would have made the list though. Farrell, Bullseye, and Penguin.
That's a good shout.
Damn.
Good
He's a
shout.
brilliant penguin. Anyway,
He was a
we digress.
brilliant penguin.
Yeah.
Right, so I know what your number one is, and I'm disgusted. But carry on.
No, because here's the thing. I mean, where are we? Yeah, so my number one is Chris Evans, who is Johnny Storm, Buzz Lightyear, and Captain America.
Buzz Lightyear, boys reaching with that one, huh?
Is Buzz Lightyear not a toyhood superhero? Is he not
No.
the toy hero that Andy went for? Buzz Lightyear is not a superhero.
No. Buzz Lightyear is an astronaut.
So yeah, I believe he falls under superhero category, but I'll give it to you, and I still maintain. Now here's why I done it, because essentially, while Buzz is give or take, if you wish,
I'll give you Buzz Lightyear a hero. I wouldn't call him a superhero.
okay, then don't do that, because then Batman's null and void.
Well played. I actually
Do you
don't have
know
an
who nearly made the
well
list?
played.
Do you know who nearly made the list for me? Right? Based on that same argument, Chris Pratt, Star-Lord and Super Mario. I very nearly went there.
Oh, damn it. Oh, man, I didn't put him on.
I very, very nearly went there. And based on my miscalculation, I should have gone back and done it again, but no, I didn't. But here's the thing. While the Fantastic Four movies were terrible, right? Chris Evans was an awesome Johnny Storm in both of them. I won't have it any other way. He was the one. Don't get me wrong, Jessica
I
Alba.
wouldn't say awesome. He was fine.
He gave me Human Torch vibes. That's the thing. From what I know of Human Torch, he displayed it well. Obviously, Jessica Alba was what we all tuned in for. But on the other side, you got that vibe of a good Johnny Storm. So from those terrible films, he was the shining star for it for me. You know, that's what stood out. But more than anything, he has owned Captain America throughout the film. Number one, the first Avenger is what it was meant to be, because that's the only way you can give an origin story. And it took me about 3 times to watch it to be able to say, oh, it's not that bad. But I still don't like the film. It's the worst of the Captain America movies. But as it builds, Steve Rogers has become more and more of a prominent figure, and he owned it throughout. So much so that it's just wiped it, and he's just one of the... It's canon now that you think of the Avengers, that moment of you get assemble. When it became everything, he has owned it and become the flagship bearer for it. Obviously, Tony Stark's up there as well. It's that joint leaderhood that you've got people saying, "Oh, Captain America, Iron Man." Like, it became something. And again, I've never been one to go for the ultimate good guy. You know, I always want the one with a bit of edge. I would normally be Team Tony. I'll normally be Team Batman over Team Superman. But Chris Evans has delivered something that you can follow. He brought humor. He brought edge with Winter Soldier, the movie. Like, in the gravitas of the character, just went from strength to strength. And for that, I gave him his props. At first, I kept saying, like, it shouldn't be number one, but there was something about what he's owned. I was just like, yeah, you're my number one. It felt wrong, but I just had to go with it.
Right, well, we've got to have a debate this week then, because real talk, we've basically punted the entire show.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Michael Keaton and Aaron Taylor-Johnson, surely.
Yes,
Keaton, definitely.
I would go with that. For range, Nick Cage.
For banter, yeah, go on then. So who would the other two be?
Oh, I thought we had Aaron and.
You agree with Aaron, yeah?
Yeah, I've got no beef with that. He made come on. Kick-Ass would not be Kick-Ass without, and that's a lesser known superhero. To make a lesser known superhero valuable, you've earned your right.
Brolin has to go on there, surely. Surely.
Here's my thing.
two of the great modern comic book
Yeah, but
performances.
the problem with Cable is Cable was still in Deadpool's movie. That's the problem I have with that
And
argument.
Thanos was still in the Avengers movie. What's
No,
your
but
point?
he was like, come on. People say they Thanos'd him. Like, Thanos has become canon. Thanos wasn't known pre-Avengers. Like, the snap is
I mean, he
oh my.
definitely was. He was just in the realm of geek, but
But that's what I'm saying. You've got to be deep geek. I didn't have a clue who he was. But now anyone understands what the snap means. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how big. It's not like he was just any old villain.
people fronting like, "Oh yeah, I always know about Thanos." Shut up.
Yeah, I'm quick to admit it. I'm quick to admit I had no.
I respect you.
Are
we actually arguing over this? You really don't want to give me Brolin?
torn. There are people. I guarantee you, right now, there are people screaming that Tom Hardy should be on it more than Brolin. I guarantee you.
No. Bane and Venom over Cable and Thanos.
It's Marvel DC as well. I mean, just say it.
Not that matters at all, but yeah.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Disney.
I'm looking at Sam Jackson, but I can give or take. Here's the thing.
Give me at someone else. Seriously, a coherent, valid argument where they've done two great performances in two really good movies.
I guarantee you, if I put Chris Evans in there, he'd even come out as a victory. I guarantee it's a possibility.
So you're telling me Fantastic Four is a better movie than Deadpool 2, and that his Human Torch is better?
I guarantee you would win. I'm just saying, when we're looking at contention, I don't want the guy to get slaughtered, and I don't know how much love there truly is for Cable out there. People just about... I prefer 2 to 1 when it comes to Deadpool. I have my awkward beef with number 1. But I'm just putting it out there. Hey, listen, I own my ish when it comes to being weird. But I'm just saying, on a real scale, do you honestly believe that Cable, in the grand pantheon of the battle that we've got there, Kick-Ass being the film that Kick-Ass is, Michael Keaton being in Spider-Man and Batman, is like, look at the contenders he's with, and then tell me you think it's worth, like, he's not going to get obliterated. If you're happy to go in for it, go for it.
Thanos.
But I'm just saying,
Thanos.
Cool. All right, go for it. Go for it.
Like,
next week when I say number 4, next week when I say in 4th position, I'll be ultra cocky about it, and I'm happy to be wrong. But I just don't believe that that's where the love kicks in. But if I'm right, I'm right. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I reckon Keaton's gonna win this, but yeah,
most likely.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of actors who played multiple comic book characters in movies, in no particular order, is
Josh Brolin, Thanos, and Cable.
Our second entry is
Michael Keaton, Batman, Vulture, and Batman.
Our third entry is...
Okay, that was a weird knock. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Quicksilver, soon to be Craven, and Kick-Ass.
Our final entry into the movie Mount Rushmore of actors who played multiple comic book movie characters is
Nicolas Cage, Superman twice, Big Daddy, Ghost Rider, and Spider Noir. What a collection.
That's very cool. I like that. Take it home, AJ.
Okay, guys, look, once again, apologies for the signal, the delay, the different angles. It has been a nightmare in terms of internet connection today, but it will be resolved by next week. So all you have to do subscribe, tell your friends to tell your friends, press the notification bell, because the Silver Screen Dudes keep on delivering throughout the week, and that's what we're trying to deliver to you. Our new show's got a special twist to it recently. We're going to be honoring films in a different way. Film reviews are going to be coming up through the trailer reactions. It's going to be a lot of fun. This is the place to be. Keep it Silver Screen Dudes.
And we will see you next week for we're starting to get into Halloween season now as we crank on. But yes, something spooky this way comes. We will see you next week right here on Movie Mount Rushmore. I'm Nico Lero. He's AJ. See ya.
Yeah.